It is time now to go inside out as our NBA insider Ian Begley joins us from the world's most famous arena. And Ian, Jalen Brunson came to the rescue once again with those 15 points in the fourth. So what's the bigger takeaway? How clutch Brunson was once again, or that the Knicks needed Brunson to be clutch to pull this one out against a team that was 22 games under 500?
Well, look, the Pelicans are trying to win games right now because they don't have their first-round pick, and so they're not one of the many NBA teams tanking. So I would say Brunson doing what he did in the fourth quarter is the bigger takeaway. I think Knicks fans who've been watching this team for a while now are probably used to seeing that from Jalen Brunson, but it's still remarkable how surgical he is in those fourth quarters. When the Knicks need baskets, they need points, he was there for them when they needed it, and they get the seventh win, but only two of these wins, Eamon, have come against teams under 30 games under 500, less than 30 games under 500. So they're playing the worst of the worst, but they're taking care of business.
Yeah, not exactly murderer's row here. Big games for Cat and OG as well, but Jordan Clarkson with 10 off the bench. How has he been able to work himself into Mike Brown's circle of trust recently?
You know, I think it started out just some minutes in blowouts, and he played well during that stretch. Those two games in L.A. are what I'm thinking about. And really since then, whether it's been injuries or otherwise, Mike Brown has turned to Clarkson again and again. Offensive spark initially, but Brown talked about his defense and the way Clarkson, you know, as a veteran, can really bother people and play on the ball. And it's been a different approach for Clarkson on that end. So just really remarkable for him to be out of the rotation for as long as he was coming out of the All-Star break. I think it was 8 games, and then comes back in and produces. But it's going to be interesting, Eamon, with Clarkson and with other guys at the end of this rotation, because Miles McBride, on his way back to the floor, coming off of that sports hernia surgery that he's been rehabbing, he's been scrimmaging with coaches, with some of the young Knicks, and when you get to that point, it seems like you're very close to getting back on the floor here. So I think Brown's going to have some decisions to make with the rotation, with the Clarksons and the Shamits and the DORs, but obviously the Knicks are going to be welcoming Miles McBride back as soon as he can get back on the floor.
All right, Ian, quickly here, big picture question. With this 7-game winning streak, the Knicks are effectively tied for second in the East with the Celtics. So how important do you think seeding is come playoff time for this Knicks club?
Yeah, players aren't going to say that they're watching the standings, but Mike Brown actually mentioned the idea you get up to second, you get home court in that second round, and he was saying that's big just because you get to play in front of this crowd at the Garden that the Knicks have been feeding off of for much of the year. So he's giving you a little bit about the seeding, but I do think everybody at the end of the day cares and would want to get up to number 2 if they can.
Every advantage counts. The Knicks now start a 4-game road trip in Charlotte on Thursday. Ian Begley, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night.